Obama continues golfing while the world burns. Tragedy at a NASCAR race. You've seen it on TV probably. I want to talk about it from a little bit different angle. And one of America's most beloved comedians tragically ends his own existence on this planet. We're going to talk about all this on The Voice of Resistance.
Those who forsake the law praise the wicked. Those who uphold the law resist them. Welcome to the Voice of Resistance. Here's your host, Randall Terry.
I want to clear something up. We are actually outside. As most of you know, we had to recently relocate to Memphis so that my son could be treated at St. Jude Children's Hospital. And we are in between studios, literally. So we're shooting outside. This is not a green screen. I had somebody call me and say, I love that background you've got. And then another person called me and said, you know, I thought that was a screen behind you, and then I saw the branch move. You're really outside. Yes, we really are outside. So, and we really have a dog. We really have, we're in a work zone. So if you hear strange noises or if a dog walks up to me, this neighbor dog, this is real life here. All right, let's talk about a whole bunch of things. The Yazidi, the people who are being murdered by ISIS. President Obama is using the Christians who are being butchered and murdered in Iraq, as well as the Yazidi people who are now, some of them are getting to safety in some camps because of some of the bombings that we've done to back off the Islamic murderers. President Obama is using these people as leverage to the Iraqi government. Now, by now you know that there is an ongoing power struggle, and they're getting the former prime minister out. They're getting a new prime minister in, who is a Shiite and who has been backed by the Iranian government. So the Iranians are playing more and more of a role in the internal politics of Iraq. But the fact that Obama has allowed these people to be murdered, and Christians, children to be beheaded, unthinkable crimes, rape against women, the Yazidi literally at points dying of thirst, and children reportedly drinking, parents making themselves bleed so that the children could have some moisture from their parents' blood. This is disgusting. So here's the point that I want to make. We were tapping the German chancellor's phone. Do you understand? Our government was tapping a secured cell phone, the leader of a foreign government, okay? The leader of one of our allies. We knew what she was saying. We knew where she was at all times, okay? They know where Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi, the self-proclaimed new caliph, the leader of ISIS, is. They know where he is, okay? Why is this man not dead? Why have they not killed him and his cadre of leaders? One theory that I have is that Obama, while he did have a press conference talking about the Yazidi, he barely mentioned the Christians that were being murdered and tortured and raped and children being beheaded. Barely mentioned them. Why is that? I mean, why? My gut is that because the Yazidi are not Christians, and they're this religious, secular, they're this religious minority, kind of their own little people group. They don't marry outside. They don't, there's not many of them, a few 100,000, depending on what number you read online. It seemed like he could be kind of a detached hero. We're going to send some food. We're going to drop a few bombs to try and chase back the the terrorists, he could have killed them all. I mean, we have the resources to kill these terrorists. And these are terrorists who are murdering Christians. Why doesn't he defend the Christians? I think that he doesn't want to be perceived by the Muslim world as protecting Christians. I think he doesn't want to be perceived as creating a new crusade or as fomenting Christian versus Islam, Islam versus Christian violence. And I think he's trying to use these victims in Iraq to strong arm the Iraqi government into having a domestic and foreign policy that's more in line with what America wants. So he is using the suffering of these people, but by not helping them, all right, he's using their suffering to further his own agenda. And it's vile. One of the rules of just war is what we're going to talk about when we come back, okay? Do we have a moral obligation to defend the Christians in Mosul? Do we have a moral obligation to kill Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi? We'll talk about it when I come back.
You have two choices. I mean, you can try to raise your children by design, or you will raise them by default. There are no perfect parents. We're going to get it wrong sometimes. If we have a plan, we've got a better chance of getting it right in the long run.
There is something deep within the heart of every human being that longs for parental acceptance and approval. When does a boy become a man?
Get a group of guys around and ask them that question.
I don't think there's a certain age. Some men stay boys their whole life.
I would say, 16, 18 years old.
Wow, that's a good question.
When they get bar mitzvah.
Well, I think when he has a child. So I just became at 56, 56 years old.
Without the power of the Holy Spirit changing us and giving us power over our sin, we can't hope to be the dads that our kids need us to be.
Hi, friend. I'm Randall Terry. George Washington said, "If the freedom of speech is taken away, then dumb and silent we may be led like sheep to the slaughter." A nation's foreign policy is going to be based upon a set of principles, something. Survival, Marxism, Islam, Augustine, Christian theory of just war. And I'm going to focus for just a minute on just war and on Augustine. But I will say this. There's Christianity which is true, and the theories that involve international relations from a Christian theological and philosophical framework, they're true, okay? And when nations, be they pagan or Christian or anything else, Islamic or whatever, when they embrace or echo or reflect just war theories, then that's good. And when they betray them, okay, that's evil. That's wrong. America has not, for many decades, based its foreign policy on a just war theory at various points, okay? Certainly we did in World War II. Obama right now has the ability to kill, our military has the ability to kill certain Islamic terrorist leaders, to kill them. So the question is it just? One of the portions of just war theory is retribution, to right wrongs. You have to decide, can we do this? Will the effect of it be a net positive? There's like a little checklist, depending on whose Augustinian theory you look at. But one thing is certain, that retribution is a part of it, all right? We're going to hunt Adolf Hitler down, and we're going to kill him because of what he did. He took his own life, so the Allies did not have the visceral pleasure of seeing him tried and then hung, as they did with Hermann Goering, but we're going to hunt down Osama bin Laden and we're going to kill him, all right? These are acts of justice. These are acts of retribution. This is a part of just war. Obama has the power as the commander-in-chief to order the U.S. military to take out these villains. Why doesn't he do it? I mean, Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi is a murderer, okay? And he is creating an area where Islamic terrorists will be trained, where they will be armed. I mean, this man was held captive for 4 years by the U.S. government in Iraq. We released him, okay? He got out, and he became the head of a portion of Al-Qaeda in that area. And he said that he was going to unleash 1,000 car bombs, okay? And he's done it. He's been going forward doing it. I mean, this man is a terrorist, and we have the ability to kill him. And why don't we? Why? I mean, for every action, there's a reaction. I recognize this. So are they afraid? Is the Obama administration afraid that if they go after him and his henchmen, that it's going to cause more acts of terror? Is it that that Obama doesn't want to appear, as I said in the last segment, to be helping Christians in the fight against Islamic terrorism? I don't know. But I do know that it is an act of justice to kill this man. And Obama has the ability to do it, and he should do it. And the fact that he has allowed so many Christians to be butchered is horrendous. One other thing about foreign policy, then we're going to go on to Nascar and Robin Williams. You are looking at Islam, people. You are looking at historic Islam. When you see what these Muslim terrorists are doing in Iraq, destroying a people group, forcing people to convert to Islam or die, all right? That is what Muhammad did. The founder of Islam is who these Islamic terrorists are taking their cues from. It's who they're trying to follow as far as an example. We say, what would Jesus do? They say, what would Muhammad do? And they're doing it, with the exception of killing children. Even Muhammad would grant mercy to children, pre-puberty boys, okay? He would grant mercy to them. These foul, demonic men are literally beheading children, Christian children, to terrorize the Christian population into paying the tax or into converting to Islam. And Obama does nothing. This is a disgusting presidency, and God knows what the fate of America is because of the wheels that are being set in motion by this elected tyrant of ours. I'll be back in a minute. Do you want to get America out of the hands of wicked and unjust men and women who are destroying the republic before our eyes, and put leadership back into the hands of righteous men and women so that we don't die as a nation? Well, you're talking about social revolution, and there are rules in social revolution. We can look at the victorious social revolutions of the past, such as the end of slavery, the end of child labor, women's voting rights, the end of segregation, and so much more, and learn from their victories. Look at their actions, their images, their rhetoric, their sacrifices, and their final fruit. We will send you this series that originally cost $129, 7 books for students, 1 teacher's guide, if you'll give a gift of any size and just pay for shipping and handling. Take advantage of it today. There's a verse in the Bible that says, those who love danger will die by danger. Most of us have unfortunately seen some of the footage of Kevin Ward being hit or almost hit by Tony Stewart in the Nascar race. That happened in a town in Ontario County. I used to live in Ontario County. So I was doubly shocked and angered. A horrible way for Canandaigua, New York to be in the news. But I want to speak directly to two separate issues. One is the media and two is young men. The media, when this happened, put it on the screen all over the country. Right? So we're in a music setting with our sons, and there was a TV on in the background. So we took them someplace to listen to a band. Friends invited us. And this TV screen comes on, and there's this footage. And my sons are going, Daddy, what is he doing? What's going on? And then there's his dead body on the track. And I thought, you foul, disgusting, sensationalist national media. You won't show what's going on with the Christians suffering in Iraq. You won't show what true Islam is like, but you want to cover our circus gods. I mean, think about it. NASCAR is the largest sport in North America. It's bigger than the NFL. It's bigger than professional baseball. Okay, it is the largest sport in America. So people get hit by cars all the time. People die all the time. It's a local story. But because this was NASCAR and because of our nation's addiction to bread and circuses, they put it on our TV screens and forced people to watch a horrifying tragedy. I mean, obviously, you can turn your TV off, which is what we did. I said to my wife, I don't want to see it. And I was so upset that the media did this. And again, I beg you to assess your own heart and life. What role does sports play? What role does the movie industry or the music industry or television or any number of entertainments, what role does it play in your life? All right? There is a place for laughter. Laughter is like a medicine to the soul, the Bible says. But we are drowning. America is drowning in a sea of immorality and wickedness and debauchery. And one of the reasons that we just keep going happily down this path toward the jaws of hell is because of bread and circuses. It's because of the entertainment industry. So let me talk now about young men. There are many studies out that show that the male brain does not have the ability to rightly assess danger until around the age of 25. All right? This kid who was killed was 20 years old. He gets out of his car and then walks through oncoming race cars to try and confront somebody coming at him at 40 or 60 or 80 miles an hour on one of these tracks. This is an act of arrogance, an act of foolishness. I mean, I feel sorry for the kid. I feel sorry for his parents. I feel bad for the man who hit him. And, the media world, the NASCAR world is up in a roar. He had no business getting out of his car and walking down that track. And one of the reasons I didn't want my sons to see this is I don't even want them to know of the level of foolishness and stupidity and arrogance that is out there. Because I don't want them mimicking it. Because they don't have the brain power at their age, and even this young man who died didn't have the brain power to accurately assess danger. And again, I quote the Bible verse to you, those who love danger will perish by danger. We need to pray for his family. We need to pray for his immortal soul. We need to grieve at the loss of his life. But we have the right to be angry with the media for what it focuses on. And we have to beware for our sons who, for what reasons are known to God, are just a little too stupid for their own good. I'll be right back to talk about Robin Williams. I have been a leader in the pro-life movement for 30 years. And sadly, we have not prevailed in our goal to make it a criminal act to kill an unborn baby. There's reasons why we have failed. I wrote this book, A Humble Plea, to Catholic bishops, to evangelical clergy, and to lay people, explaining where we went wrong and what we have to do to prevail. We've made this available as a PDF online for free. I encourage you to go and download your own copy. We have put together what we call an online university for you. Now that's a highfalutin way of saying that we have a pretty significant library of material, books, tapes, videos that are there for you for free. Why are we doing this? Because America is desperate for new leaders, and because this material could help you to become the leader that you and God want you to be. Check it out and enjoy it. Hi friend, I'm Randall Terry. George Washington said, "Few men have virtue to withstand the highest bidder." Two. If you are a parent and you have small children that are in the room right now, I ask you to go ahead and maybe get them out, because I want to talk to you heart to heart about Robin Williams. If you are someone who is tempted or considering, even remotely, ending your own life, please don't do it. Please. For the love of God, for the love of your family, don't do it. Most of us in America know someone who has either taken their life or tried to take their life, or we know family members, or we know friends who had a family member that, in fact, did try to or successfully took their own life. And it's just horrifying. It's horrifying, the anguish and the trauma that is left behind. And you're not alone. You're not alone in a struggle with depression and a struggle with despair. 1 in 4 doctor's visits in America, 1 in 4 is over mental health. The industrialized nations of the world are struggling under the burden of mental health. It's just a fact, okay? And the only doctor visit that's more frequent than mental health visits is a physical, because the government schools require the kids go there. So with that exception, the second most common reason for people to see a doctor is mental health. So if you're on meds to help with the chemical, hormonal, internal, endocrine system, all of the stuff going on in your body, and it's not, your meds aren't exactly right, go back to your doctor and ask them to make an alteration. Raise it, lower it, add something, take something away. We have to have great compassion for people who are struggling with depression to the point where they would entertain ending their own life. And I make no bones about it. I've struggled with depression over the years. I know many people close to me, family members that have struggled with depression. I mean, my son has cancer right now. We got uprooted from our home, from our family, from our churches. I mean, it's been a very difficult struggle for us. But taking our own lives is not an option. And it's, the word suicide actually means self-murder, okay? And the Christian religion has taught that it is one of the worst sins that we can commit. So if you're a believer, if you love the Lord, and if you want to please Him, and when you leave this life, you want to hear Him say, "Well done, good and faithful servant," then no matter what, do not yield to the temptation to end your own life, because it's just wrong, okay? It's not right. And there are reasons to live, and there are things that you can do. And if you know somebody who's tempted to take their own life, or they're talking about it, don't blow it off. Do not dismiss it. Take it seriously and try and get them help. And if you're not professionally trained to help them, don't take the burden on your back, but try and find someone who can help. God bless Robin Williams' family. And God help us all to serve the Lord with whatever hand that we are dealt in this life. God bless you.